Very happy to be joined by Kennedy Polamalu, the fourth-year running backs coach for the Minnesota Vikings. Big game for Dalvin Cook at Lambeau. You got the Lions next. Kennedy, thanks for joining. And Dalvin just keeps getting better. What do you appreciate about Dalvin Cook overall?
Everything. He's a worker, smart young man. His vision, his clarity, his awareness, leadership. He's just really fun to really coach, and I'm enjoying the journey with him.
Kennedy, when it comes to the patience game, what's good about Dalvin's patience? I'm not just talking about that 50-yard screen masterpiece, just overall with hitting the holes and everything. He just seems patient.
Well, his clarity, his vision, understanding defensive structure, spending a lot of time on how they are going to fit a certain run, or how they drop into coverage, how they want to leverage him, and that's just a really good ability that he has. He just sees the whole field and sees all 22 players himself on the field. So it's really a joy, and he works at it.
Kennedy, maybe one of the dumbest questions you've gotten all year, but I haven't seen you all year. It's 2020. So how closely do you as running backs coach work with Rick Dennison and the offensive line coaches? I mean, it's obvious you work closely with Kubiak, but to get your running backs in unison with the offensive line, how's that work?
Oh, it has to. The relationship, it has to all come around on how they're going to block a certain defensive line, how a linebacker is going to flow, or how a safety's coming down. It relates to everything. So the O-line, the tight ends, the fullback with C.J. Ham, and even the wide receivers on what angles they're taking to pick up the force defender. So we do a really, really good job here. Gary lays out the outline, and we work closely together, all of us.
When it comes to Dalvin specifically and pass protection, where is he with that? Is he a high ender?
He's an exceptional elite running back. He can do it all. He can pass protect. He can catch. Obviously, he can run short yardage and long regular rundowns. It's a good challenge. Challenge him all the time. That don't allow a ball to hit the ground. Challenge him all the time to see a pattern on, we tease him all the time. I always tell him, you chase one rabbit, don't chase two, because you chase two, you end up with none. So it's kind of our little thing, understand that trigger and be aggressive on this pass pro, and he's done a really nice job with that.
Kennedy Polamalu, running backs coach for the Minnesota Vikings. Vikings and Lions Sunday at noon on KFAN and the Vikings Radio Network. Alexander Madison, your second-year running back. What do you like about him?
Just like Dalvin, a worker. Both these young men are humble. They're very coachable, and then they have the God-given ability. And they don't let that ability go to rust. They come to work every day to get better, be consistent, and they work on the details. And then it's just fun watching them go out there and make plays.
With Alexander just in his second year, and I can't exactly remember if Dalvin was really, really good catching it early in his career. He probably was. But for Alexander, is catching it and the patience in the screen game, is that still a work in progress?
It's still a work in progress because, again, like you talked about, working with the offensive line, it all has to relate with the timing. You got to make sure that you don't waste an extra step. You want to make sure that you're right in the hip of those linemen, and that's kind of over time. And it's taken Dalvin, this is our fourth year together. So, it's fun. It's fun to watch all those guys, but Alexander had some nice screens against Seattle, and so he's starting to understand that.
Kennedy, you mentioned C.J. Ham, and he obviously is so important in this equation for Dalvin and Alexander, and caught that touchdown last year against Detroit. Just what a wonderful player and what a wonderful guy.
Just unbelievable. He's just a humble, hard worker, really smart, You can put him any position on the field, the formation. He understands defensive structure. And then not only that, like the other, Mike Boone and Amir, they get on special teams and they want to make an impact. And that's what's, they bring joy to me every day, the way these young men come to work.
Don't you just love that, Kennedy? I mean, Amir's like a third-round pick from Nebraska, and, he wants to run and catch, and Mike wants to run, despite being undrafted from Cincinnati. They're both unbelievably good on special teams. Not everybody embraces that like those guys have.
Well, it's that room. That room, it's contagious, and it starts with Dalvin, and then goes to CJ, the veteran guys, and it's been that way, that they want to go out there and make impact if they have one play, and if they get 20 plays, and that's what's fun about this group.
Last one, Kennedy, and thanks very much for the time. Best of luck against the Lions. Your nephew, Troy Polamalu, part of the 2020 NFL Hall of Fame class, which was put off for a year. Who knows the way 2020 is going? But was it difficult in any way for you, to recognize that you were going to see the speech and he's your nephew? Unbelievable for the Steelers, obviously. Well, it's 2020. Was that a difficult time?
It was a difficult time, but I was so proud. I had the opportunity to fly down to Miami, spend dinner with them the night before, and got to experience all the different Hall of Famers that came up and congratulated. And it was emotional because I've seen this young man from his birth all the way to this time, and nothing better. He's a better person. He is a football player, and he's really helped me in my coaching career in understanding how to the relationship part of teaching these young men to be the best they can be.
Kennedy, you watch defenses and try to beat them every single week. Does anybody play the game the way your nephew played it for the Steelers, freelancing, hitting, picking off quarterbacks?
Yeah, well, he studies. He studies and takes the angles and proper, and that was Coach Dick LeBeau. He tells funny stories about, hey, Troy, what don't you understand about covering the flat? I'll protect you with the other routes, but I need you in the flat. So those are all calculated in studies, and it's fun to watch him play, and that's what I try to teach these young men. I'm gonna give you the information. Now just let it go and be willing to let the results come out.
You offensive coordinator at USC and UCLA. I mean, from Brentwood to near South Central by the Coliseum. I mean, that you don't see that too often, old Kennedy.
No, the great thing about it is I had the opportunity to get my two sons into college, and Hollywood people are getting in trouble with that stuff now.
Hey, man, good for you. You do great work. I appreciate you joining the show. Best of luck against those Lions, okay?
Thank you very much, Paul.